Hello, this is Alexander Pierre's journal assignment number 1 for lifespan development. I'm going to be exploring my transitions from middle to late childhood. This photograph is of my father, little brother, and I. I was around 8 years of age at the time, and my little brother was 4. This picture was taken in front of my babysitter's house, which was located in Hackensack, New Jersey. This picture is special to me because it captured how happy I was to see my father. The reason for this happiness is because my father usually didn't pick us up from the babysitter due to his late hours at work, and it caught me off guard. Mid to late childhood was an interesting time in my life, both mentally and physically. Industry versus inferiority is the main theme during this age, according to Erik Erikson. Erik Erikson was a German-born American psychologist and psychoanalyst. He is known for his theory on psychosocial development of human beings. During this time period, children are really curious about their surroundings. They want to explore things on their own. Children should be awarded and encouraged to try new things. This helps children to develop confidence in themselves and what they do. Inferiority comes in when parents try to stop their children from exploring and playing because they think that they are getting into trouble or just being too unruly. Children who receive little to no encouragement will doubt their abilities, and that could hinder future success. I come from a 2-parent household that was loving, happy, and caring. My parents encouraged my siblings and I to explore on our own and encouraged us to play with others. My parents supported the industry part of industry versus inferiority. They would encourage us to use our imaginations, and they also encouraged my siblings and I to work through problems on our own. This has helped me grow into a responsible adult that enjoys working in groups, but can also work through problems on my own. I am a very independent man. I take care of my business. I know the difference between wants and needs. I know when to play and when to be serious. I also like to explore and try new things on my own or in group settings. As a counselor, this will make it easier to try new techniques with clients. When I was younger, I used to get teased a lot. I was an awkward-looking child with very distinct features. This stage of my life was very difficult to cope with, and my mother was a big help. My mother really helped me understand my self-worth and how important it is to respect others. As an adult, these conversations have helped me to respect others and to not judge people based off their looks or differences. This is a very important thing to carry with you as a counselor. These teachings will also help me show empathy to clients who have dealt with or are dealing with similar issues. Piaget and Kohlberg spoke about how important moral development is during this stage in our textbook. Kohlberg also talks about how the family processes are essentially unimportant when it comes to children's moral developments. I would have to disagree with Kohlberg on this topic. My parents, especially my mother, played a major role in my moral development. My mother set a high precedent when it came to morals, and she always taught us to respect ourselves, our elders, and others. My mother was big on the golden rule of treating other people how you would like to be treated yourself. My mother always told us that how you treat others is a reflection of how well you were raised. I never truly understood that comment until I was an adult. Thinking back on my childhood, my parents' teachings on morality really has reflected my everyday life. I treat people with respect no matter the setting, and I do it without hesitation. My father was big on education and learning about all different kinds of places around the world. I remember my first assignment being a book report on a country of my choosing. I had to research the people, the culture, the primary religion, and way of life. My father told me the reason he gave me this assignment was for me to have the knowledge and greater appreciation and respect for others that are different from myself. I will carry these teachings into my counseling days. It is important to realize people are different and come from different places, and in realizing that, you need to treat everyone with respect, no matter their differences. Since I was around the age of 1, my siblings and I used to attend a babysitter. Miss Lucy, our babysitter, lived on the poorer side of town, but she always made us feel welcome and at home. Growing up, my siblings and I played with the kids that lived around the neighborhood. Some of these children came from broken homes, were not really religious, and their teachings on morals and acceptable social behaviors were not on par with us. I remember my friends from the neighborhood cursing and being disrespectful, and I would always remember what my mother and Miss Lucy would teach us about cursing and the use of bad words, so I never participated. I also remember when my friends would make fun of other children, I would stand up for the other children and let them know that it wasn't nice to pick on others. This is the main reason why I disagree with Kohlberg, because even though I was around these other children, I still carried myself in accordance to the teachings of my mother and Miss Lucy. This is a picture of Miss Lucy Francis and I. When my parents weren't around, Miss Lucy was a mother figure in my siblings and I's lives. She was a godly woman that had us heavily involved in the church. And since her husband died at a very young age, she had no children of her own. She never remarried but always wanted children. Because of this, she babysat my siblings and I, along with other children from the neighborhood. Some of these children I am still very close with today. Miss Lucy taught me how to read and write long before I started school. She taught me the importance of carrying myself as a respectful young black man, and she also taught me to be truthful to myself and others. And she expected me to do so even when she wasn't around. At times, I didn't always tell the truth, but when she caught me in a lie, she always reprimanded me for it and explained that doing the right thing is not limited only to when she was watching, but it is for when she is not watching me as well. I carry that with me to this day, and I will carry that into my professional life. My siblings and I attended Sunday school, sang in the choir, and were part of church plays. I got over my fear of public speaking because Miss Lucy made me read the gospel on Sundays in front of a large crowd when I was younger. Being so involved in church activities along with homework made it hard to get into mischief. As human beings, we are not perfect, and this is sometimes reflected in my stubborn attitude. I used to talk back and be disrespectful at times, but I was also disciplined and told why my actions were not appropriate. I carry those teachings into my adult life and have learned that even though things don't always go my way, I should not act out of my own character and how I was taught. From a very young age, my parents made certain that we know the difference between a friend and an associate. My parents explained to me that friendship is essential to the soul and that true friends are hard to come by. My father always told me that there is no greater gift in life than to lay down one's life for a true friend. I feel that my friends are an extension of my family, and I would do anything within reason for any of my friends. When I was growing up, I had a hard time differentiating who was a true friend and sometimes got in trouble because of that. During holidays, my family volunteered our time to the less fortunate. This gave me a better appreciation for all the things that I did have in my life and didn't have in my life as well. It also made me value the things that my parents worked hard for to provide for me. This is a picture of my immediate family. Both of my parents were born in their respective countries and moved to the United States in their teenage years. My father, who was born in Haiti, is of Haitian descent and a Roman Catholic. My mother, whom was born in Jamaica and is of Jamaican descent, was raised Baptist. Since both my parents were raised with different religious beliefs, my mother and father came to the conclusion that they were going to raise all of the children as Roman Catholic. We celebrated in accordance to all Catholic holidays. Our celebrations and traditions were based upon food, music, and family unity. We celebrated mostly American holidays, though. These holidays consisted of Christmas, birthdays, Easter, Thanksgiving, etc. Since we had two separate sets of grandparents to visit, we would leave the house early on holidays and travel to New York City, where the rest of our family was located. We would spend a couple hours with the Jamaican part of my family in the Bronx, and then we would spend time with the Haitian part of my family in Queens, New York. During these holidays, and during everyday life, the women in my family would do all of the cooking, cleaning, and household chores. The men in the family would do more of the handiwork in the house, like cut the grass, fix and build things, and taking out the trash. It was a rare occurrence, but the men in the family occasionally cooked. This mainly happened when the women were sick and not able to, though. Even though I had a close, loving family, I only went to certain family members with my problems. Over the years, I learned through trial and error how each family member would react to certain things, and this greatly affected who I would confide in. I mostly would confide in my mother because of her non-judgmental attitude. To this day, I go to my mother for advice, and I talk to her at least once every day. My mother, who is a social worker, taught my siblings and I that mental health is just as important as physical health. She always made sure to let my siblings and I know that she is always available for us to confide in. I am very grateful for my mother and her teachings. She proved to me that having someone to talk to is very therapeutic and helps a great deal when it comes to overall health. We have come to the conclusion of Alexander Pierre's first journal assignment for lifespan development. Thank you for taking your time out to listen.